Gideon, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. Congratulations on the film Witch Hunt. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So I'm curious to know, what is your definition of a witch? Just because we've seen so different variations of it in our history. We've seen it as a kind of as a form of oppression, but in entertainment, we also see it as something really mythical, magical, and sorcery and things of that nature. So it varies from person to person, I think.
Yeah, well, first of all, when you hear the word witch, you think of women. And what I've learned through, doing Witch Hunt and then doing the craft, which was a little fun surprise, um, that witches are men, witches are women, anybody can be a witch. And I think being a witch is just about, the way that you live your life. You don't have to be casting spells all the time. You can be a witch through your artwork. You can be a witch through the way you write in your journal, the way light candles in your house. I think witchcraft is very beautiful, and in a way, it's very spiritual. It almost feels religious. Um, yeah, I hope that if that answered your question.
And it's a great answer, and it kind of leads to the point where the concept of being called a witch is sometimes maybe shaking the status quo, or taking away somebody's control of what is
Mhm.
considered normal. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it's, a lot of times it's about, people who are just so confident in themselves that, people are like, oh, they're weird, or like people who don't care and, are just out there and very in tune with themselves and like, oh, they're weird. But that's because a lot of people, don't know how to find their truth selves. And all the witches I've met are very true to themselves. And I think that can be a very scary thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, peer pressure is a bitch. That just to put it very bluntly. I did that for a long time in my early 20s. I was very scared to just kind of be on my own. I would much rather be part of that group. And then it was until later
Mm-hmm.
in my 20s that I figured out, yeah, I don't need to be part of that group. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an interesting conversation. What actually leads us to Claire. I thought a little bit about Claire, about what she's going through in Witch Hunt, specifically in school, and it's kind of where we kick off in the film.
Well, I mean, I think Claire is not like, she seems like the odd one out, but she has friends,
Mhm.
she has people that want to hang out with her. Her girl crew is cool. Um, so she's not an outcast, but she totally is in her own way. I think that she's always known that there's something inside of her that's very powerful, and she doesn't want to admit it. She doesn't want to let it out, because if she did, then she will be outcasted and, seen as an other. And that's such a scary thing. But then she meets a friend who's like, this is a beautiful thing, like, come to the dark side, but not the dark side. Um, and she comes out of her shell and she gains all this power, and it's beautiful. And I think a lot of people struggle to find that. And especially people, Claire's age, high school, it's hard,
Yeah,
it's tough.
I absolutely agree with you. So tell me, do you think, what is her relationship with her mom? It seems like they may be at odds at times. I'm not even sure if I fully think that she really agrees with what her family does for all these travelers.
Hmm. She doesn't agree. um I just think it's because she's scared, and because she knows she's like these people. So whenever, these witches come into her house, she can really feel it inside. And she's
Right.
like, oh, she feels the connection. And I think that scares her. I think she's scared of being taken away from her family, being caught. And that's why she suppresses it. And I think that's why she's a bad relationship with her mom, because she also doesn't know how to ask it, like,
Mhm.
am I connected to this? Why do I feel weird? She doesn't know how to. So instead she just pushes all of it away, and she's like, this is bad, why are you helping these
Uh-huh.
people? But you know yeah, she's scared to admit that she's a witch.
It's interesting. I love the way that Elle Callan, the writer and director, she kind of sprinkled those little notes in the beginning, those moments where Claire, has those interactions or things happen to her. You don't understand why that's happening to her till a little bit later. So I think that was well developed. Can you talk a little bit about working with Elle?
Yeah, I mean, Elle came to me with this project, and I was like, I love supporting female, creators, and just, her connection to her younger sisters and her connection to this project, and kind of, involving, things from her childhood in the script. Like, I felt very connected to her in the script, and her connection to witchcraft, my connection to witchcraft. It was just really cool to work with her, and very like we were painting on the same canvas the whole time. It was very, it was a two-way street, which was nice. We were collaborating a lot, so it's cool on the character.
So you said you have a connection with witchcraft. So how did that help you in preparing for this role?
Um, just my whole life, my grandma would say, you come from a long line of witches and stuff like that. I've always been into crystals and, reading about witchcraft. And, I went to a psychic for the first time when I was 6. Um, I've just always been very spiritual. My family's very spiritual. So, you know, it helped. I mean, witch hunt is very fantastical, like
Right.
compared to, real witchcraft. But it definitely helped me feel more connected to Claire. So
That's great. And actually, I want to talk about your connection with Fiona, played by Abigail Cohen, because most of my question is, what is it about her that really um, helped you open up, or was it maybe right place, right time for her?
I just think it's finally someone that was the same age that came into her house. And like, you know, I was very, I think Claire is just so intrigued by her. She's like, oh my God, I want to ask her what's going on with me, but I don't know how to, because I don't want to be outed. I don't want to admit it to myself that I know I'm like her. And they build this like love and just connection because, they're the same. And I, find it beautiful that Fiona really helps her come out of her shell, and then all hell breaks loose, as you saw. But yeah, and it's beautiful that they run away together. It's very Thelma and Louise, very, a sister love story.
Yeah, we won't talk about it here, but after I talked with Elle, we talked off camera for a few minutes about that ending, because I shook I shook my head and laughed a little bit, and it was very poetic, very
Yeah.
very timely, and very well done. So
Uh-huh.
I think everyone's gonna enjoy that, or be kind of annoyed at the same time, because I never mind.
You
Let's
wanted to
drop
see
it.
them. You wanted to see what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't talk about it too more, because I want everybody to enjoy it the same way I did. And tell me, what was one of your biggest takeaways from working on this project?
Um, I mean, the connections that I made, the people that the producers I worked with, being directed by Elle. Elizabeth was so sweet and just so kind. We would just sit and talk all day. Really, the people I met on this project.
Yeah, it's always good. Hopefully you guys have a longer connection, and you guys get to work on future projects together.
Yeah.
Gideon, thank you so much for your time and for your insight
Thank
on Witch
you.
Hunt. I really appreciate it. It was very nice to virtually meet you.
Same here. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Take care.
Bye.